still. That's what all of those like rich white guys were also addressing as well. Some of them refused to talk about the real victims, which would be the black South Africans, who are still in horrifying material conditions. Listen to both sides, except the one side is just making shit up, and they're not even like a big enough side to listen to. It's just a bunch of like, it's a handful of people on the one side claiming falsely there's a genocide taking place, and on the other side you have the entirety of the country, down to like the richest, whitest people in the country being like, yeah, it's bullshit. Crazy. Luckily, I guess, for South Africa, the golfers are on the side. Luckily for South Africa, the white golfers were on the side of the, no, it's not a real genocide. You know? I wish you'd stop eating on camera. Okay. Here, eat this perma.
Incredible moment. Another open to the cameras moment in the Oval Office, meeting with the South African president, President Trump there. A very open conversation. At one point, the president's staff playing out a video showing these claims of in South Africa, which its leader has refuted. An amazing moment, Trace, and welcome everybody. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, to watch this in real time.
Yeah, and I'm Trace Gallagher in Los Angeles. John Roberts has the day off. This is America Reports. It really was fascinating because it became this kind of very congenial press conference between the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as the President Trump. And they had golfers, Ernie Els, Retief Goosen from South Africa, and it was very fun. And then they played the video, Sandra, of these allegations, the video of these groups, including groups that Elon Musk has pointed out, like the economic freedom fighters, that believe that there is genocide, that have called for in South Africa, this time against white farmers. President Trump has given those farmers refugee status. He was asked a question about whether he believes there is, and he said he didn't know, but he clearly is concerned that some white farmers in South Africa are being targeted because he has done many things to try and alleviate those harms. Another moment of transparency from this White House, the promised transparency. This went for about an hour and 6 minutes. Trace, let's bring in Peter Ducey, our White House correspondent, is standing by. Not only did they play out the video, Peter, but also talking about the G20, President Trump saying he feels it's important to them for South Africa to look good at the G20. He at one point held up copies of articles about South Africans saying these are deaths. What is the reaction so far there?
Sandra and Trace, I didn't even know that you could dim the lights in decades old. Seems like a place that would just have an on or off switch, but President Trump called for the lights to be dimmed so that he could show this multimedia presentation to basically call the visiting South African president's bluff. The South African president came here to say there is no happening in South Africa. President Trump basically said, okay, well, then what's all of this? And he showed political leaders and opposition leaders in South Africa saying some very heinous and violent things.
Incredible, man. Thank you. Wow, they have light dimmers in the Oval. That's crazy. Incredible technological developments happening. Oh, Peter Ducey. All the worst douchebags are winning, and I genuinely despise it. One of the worst aspects of this government, aside from like the metric ton of evil they're contributing to, is also how galvanized the stupids have gotten in the process. I hate it. I can't stand it. According to their standards, wouldn't Gaza be? No, there would be a different. If what's happening to white farmers in South Africa constitutes, then you need a different name for what's going on in Gaza. Like, you can't call those two things the same thing. Like a mega or like a super Holocaust or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Even the Holocaust itself would have to be named something different. Like, it's just not. You know, it's not comparable. It's ridiculous. You have to rewrite all the rules. The stupidest thing to me is how much credit these people give to a leader like Malema. Yes, he has a following, and the EFF are nowhere near as influential as these people say they are. I think the irony is that the EFF will become more influential if the ANC government doesn't take any action in terms of offering economic restitution. Like, that's it. Like, the the resentment is understandable. Because, like, you have to remember something. The EFF is not arriving at this position that we look at as, like, crazy and violent out of nowhere, or because they just, like, racially despise white people. Their anger is born out of the false promises made by the South African government in the aftermath of the apartheid. South Africa, broadly, is really up still. That's what all of those, like, rich white guys were also addressing as well. Some of them refused to talk about the real victims, which would be the black South Africans, who are still in horrifying material conditions. But that's it. There's a reason why Malema has gotten any popularity whatsoever. There's a couple chatters in here that are just like, they have their stories and they just keep spamming it. Like, one chatter wants me to cover St. Louis. The other one wants me to cover Adriana Smith. I haven't looked into it. Okay. Please stop spamming the stories over and over again. I know Adriana Smith is on life support, so the government can forcibly extract a child out of her. It's a baby incubator situation. I know. It's not like I am currently covering nothing. I am doing something right now. Do you see that? Do you hear that? And then the other chatter's like, dude, cover St. Louis. I did. I already did. The lack of funding contributed to the disastrous tornadoes becoming even more disastrous than they normally would have.
For several minutes, and he just made the
one of the funniest things I have to mention here, by the way, is the metric ton of Asmongold fans who have come in here to be like, I hear Asmongold is in your mind. I haven't brought up his name even once today. He, on the other hand, I know has covered me multiple times today, and his dumb fans keep coming in here to bring up his name for some reason. You guys come in here and talk about how showerless you are and how rotted you are, both inside and out, and demand drama take place. Leave me alone, man. Holy shit. And then the moment that I cover Mold Man, they go, hup, see? Rent-free, dude. It's like, no, you're the one who is bringing him up. I haven't talked about him. I'm talking about the news. Why would I care about what he has to say about anything?
And the rest of the South African delegation sit there in the half-dark room and watch it. And afterwards, President Trump did want to talk a little bit about trade, and his visiting famous golfer friends from South Africa got to speak as well. He said he has not made up his mind, despite the presentation that he had the staff cut and put forward. He has not made up his mind yet about whether or not there's happening. That is something the South African team strenuously denies. And it's worth pointing out that is definitely the most awkward Oval Office meeting since Zelensky was here. It ended a little bit better because I can see the vehicle. It is not leaving. The South African delegation is not leaving early. They will be sticking around for lunch. But really, when you watch that, it seems like the Trump foreign policy doctrine is a lot like the old slogan for the MTV show The Real World, where people stop being polite and start getting real. And that's what we just saw from President Trump.
A couple of there. One was a good question from a South African reporter. She was asking about the G20 summit in South Africa coming up in November. President Trump said it was important that the United States be present at that. Didn't really commit to actually going to the G20 summit, so that's something yet to be seen. But I'm wondering about Elon Musk's hand in all of this. We know that he is South African. Elon Musk has complained again and again about that his Starlink satellite provider was not allowed to operate in South Africa, primarily because he is white. I'm wondering what the reaction there was and how much that played into the videotape playing, as you will, and the lights being dimmed in the Oval Office.
Yes, so the two things in order there. President Trump saying that the United States should be at the G20 doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to go, just that they should have a presence. And there's been some talk.
Where's this fucking chatter who's like, you should cover Asmongold in the same way that you should cover Theo Vaughn with the same disdain that you have for Asmongold. No. And it's simple. Theo Vaughn, regardless of his allegiance or sympathy for the Trump administration, and there's plenty of that, okay? He's quite literally, he went to Qatar with the Trump administration to speak to do a comedy show to the troops there. Theo Vaughn still has an open mind, especially when it comes to what is going on in fucking Gaza. Okay? I'm not going to cast aside a valuable ally like that, knowing full well that he is presenting a position to an audience that must hear it more than anybody else. Okay, that's it. That's my strategic focus here. And anyone who doesn't understand that is being ridiculous. That's some 2004 Bush admin shit. I don't know why you're keeping a comedian so close other than careerism. What? Bad take in my opinion, terrible opinion. He's literally gesturing for Adolf Hitler. If you guys can't understand, I think it's because Zach Foster post. No, it's Zach Fox who is right. Who's right in his fucking analysis where he's like, what are we doing, bro? How about you ask the fucking friends that you hang out with? He's not wrong about that. Okay. He's not. But the reason why I hype it up is because there are plenty of people who fucking love Donald Trump, who love Theo Von. And those are the people who need to, more than anyone else, see what Theo Von is saying. That's it. No, you're deluded by the proximity. No, I am not deluded by the proximity. I understand how these things fucking work. This is my take. Happy to see you speaking out, but it's truly bizarre watching someone who's helped Trump get elected and continues to dominate Trump's family express confusion over something Trump has vocally supported the entire time. Yeah, no, I understand it. I do. I get it. But I don't care. Because at the end of the day, friend or not to the Trump administration, he's still a fucking comedian. If he is able to demonstrate moral clarity on this issue, then that's a good thing, especially when he has a shit ton of influence and a shit ton of prominence. I would probably have less smoke for Asmongold if he did this as well. I would have less smoke for Ethan Klein if he did this as well. I'm sorry, when I'm fucking in the midst of having to deal with slop tubers who in the most pathetic, cowardly ways possible defend Israel's actions, yell at the one fucking dude who's not doing that. If you are getting outflanked by Theo Von, who is friends with the Trump administration on the issue of Israel, and you're a Democratic Party politician, you should really take a cold, hard look at yourself. Okay? Everything else is just bullshit. That's it. That's all I care about. Yeah, I should yell at the one of the most prominent manosphere adjacent guys who is called right wing all the fucking time doing the right thing. I should punish him for it. Some of you don't understand how these things work. Okay? You just don't understand it. And that's fine. It's all good. There is no way of like, we'll hear 10 years down the line, we'll turn around and say, oh wow, why do we like cast aside so many fucking voices or some shit? It's exactly the same comeuppance that's taking place right now with a million different think pieces coming out of all of the overwhelmingly rad-libbed up articles that were written addressing the articles from 2016, being like, why are we being so ruthless to young men? What's the deal with young men? Why are you writing this article now? And this isn't entirely in the fucking hands of all of the people who are being progressive, but like, yeah, there is a air of arrogance that leftists fucking present all the goddamn time. There's an air of arrogance and an air of like, we are on the right side of history, so we shouldn't make a fucking argument. We should not actually have to convince anyone whenever progressive people try to speak out on issues. I'm not one of those people. I've never been one of those people. I am, of course, still going to do my very best to try to bring more people on board. And you might think that is because I'm clout hungry or whatever the fuck. And that's fine. That's okay. Sure, I'm clout hungry. You got me. I love clout, okay? But the clout of more people recognizing Israel's insane actions. It's not about clout, it's about class. Yes, you're in the same club though. We get it. He's in your same class. Yes. The classic Marxist class of what? Podcasters? The podcasting class. You got the lumpen pros, you got the bourgeois, the petite bourgeois, and then you have the podcaster class. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, that's why I defend all podcasters unconditionally. Famously, as you guys know, that's what I do. That's why I'm such good friends with fucking Asmongold, you know? Bro, if you're a single issue voter, you're missing a shit ton of local extremism within torture, displacement, and ruination of a class of people within your own boundaries. I am not a single issue voter. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Go watch the Theo Von conversation that I have to understand why this kind of relationship is productive overall. Because the very same people that have to hear those arguments, I'm not gonna fucking shut off someone who gives that opportunity. Okay, that's it. You're not wrong for your criticism, but if you're like, why don't you fucking ass blast them? Well, then you're stupid. I'm telling you exactly why I don't.
We do not.
Let's get back to white genocide in South Africa.
Not have a genocide in South Africa.
This South African farmer wants to set the record straight. He wrote an open letter to US President Donald Trump after Trump offered Afrikaans.
If he was a rabid anti-Semite like Sneeko, I'd be all for casting him aside, but he's not, so any progress is good. Drama coverage is ruining this community's brains, how they engage with actual news. Stop looking for a target and start trying to understand the shit y'all clearly don't understand. Yeah, I'm not pure. Okay? I'm not fucking pure. I'm impure. This is so fucking funny because you'd be like kicking it with Trump one week and then the next week he's sitting with Hasan Piker saying shit like this. No disrespect, but this is the median American voter actually said. Alex Press. Here, it's a good time to retweet this fucking great take. Yeah. A lot of people simply cannot comprehend that, like, a lot of people simply can't comprehend that many people are just like, they don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't understand anything. They don't have the same fucking equipment that you do. Okay? You've done the reading. A lot of people haven't. Do I think it's ridiculous that he on the one hand was like, oh, this genocide is really, the other hand, he's whining and dining with the genocidaires? Yeah, I do. But also, Theo Von is not fucking Bernie Sanders. You know what I mean? Except he has outflanked Bernie Sanders on his statements about what Israel is doing. So what the fuck do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? You have a well-equipped socialist guy who has spent his entire fucking career railing against, like, at least most of America's imperialist actions. All of a sudden, you got a fucking podcaster who literally played a role in Donald Trump getting elected, outflanking him on this issue. What do you want me to do? Yell at the guy? No, I'm not. I care about this, okay? I'm not going to fucking yell at the guy. Especially because he's saying the truth. If he was running around being like, I don't really understand, I don't think this is a genocide at all, then yeah, I would yell at the guy. Be like, you're wrong. But I'm not going to do that. That's it. Take it where you can get it. Oh.
Ghana farmers' refugee status.
But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to...
In a way, is this similar to people getting mad at Rogan endorsing Bernie? Kind of. Yeah. But don't worry. There will be think pieces about what happened to Joe Rogan of the left 10 years down the line. Some people are really stupid, dude. You got to understand. You got to fucking, one, do positive reinforcement. Two, some people are just like, they don't understand it. They just don't get it. Okay? But as long as someone maintains charitability, you should be able to talk to them instead of fucking immediately going, nope, it's over. It's done. A lot of you have this attitude right now while simultaneously maintaining the attitude that the left is doing too much purity spiral shit. You know what I mean? So which is it? Are we doing too much fucking purity spiral shit? Or are we doing not enough purity spiral shit in a country that is inherently hostile to your worldview?
Right about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white.
The first group of 59 Afrikaners traveled to the U.S. in early May. It is.
But bro, what are you saying? Like they're saying, yep, there's a genocide across the planet that we're funding, and that's bad. With the same breath, talking about Abrego is MS-13 or some shit. Is he doing that? He's not even fucking doing that. Also, dude. The other side of this story that is like, notice how engaged Chad is right now. Because everyone loves to be a little fucking drama pervert. Like, everyone thinks that they're above this, but actually, this is juicy. This is the shit. This is what fucking activates people. It's the crack cocaine. Like, oh, fuck this South African white genocide bullshit. Who gives a fuck? Fuck talking about Israel, Palestine. The real fucking crack hits when you start talking about this, okay? Unfollowed right now, lol. Okay, suck my dick. You know? The real crack cocaine hits when we get here, when you're like, I'm going to try to get this out of you. We can't come across as like inherently hostile to people for the crime of moving in the right direction. You have to be more open-minded. That's it. That's it. And you're not wrong for being like, what the fuck are you doing? You're on the one hand saying there's a genocide. On the other hand, you're like, you know, cozying up to the people that are doing the genocide. But the way to do that is not by being like, fuck this guy. Okay? That's it. Especially because he could just as easily turn around and be like, nah, this is not a genocide. And he'd probably benefit greatly from it. Like all the people you just banned, right? Wait, what? What? The people I just banned? What are you talking about? Chatter's getting banned in here is not the equivalent of being fucking... I'm a Twitch streamer, okay? I do housekeeping whichever way I want to. This is not the same as like being... This is not the same as like being hostile to people who are on their own fucking journey. You unintentionally promote this behavior when you single out posts that you know you like this one? Yeah, I know. I do. But I think part of the reason why I do this is because I want to show like what is not acceptable and what is acceptable in the chat. You don't get killed when you get banned from this chat. You can even still keep watching. You just can't talk. It's very odd that people treat that as like